They all said the same thing at the vigil. He was such a family man, a devoted husband, a loving father, a pillar of the community. And for years, no one noticed the way Mara Collins kept her eyes on the ground as they said it. Because Mara knew something the rest of them didn't. Something buried beneath the house on Hawthorne Lane. Something that had been waiting in the dark. The first time Mara met Victor Hale, she was 19, newly hired as a living caregiver for his aging mother. Victor was everything people admired: charismatic, generous, untouchable. He owned half the construction contracts in the county, sponsored the church roof repairs, and had the mayor on speed dial. When Victor smiled, doors opened. When he frowned, people disappeared. Mara was invisible, poor, orphaned, grateful for the job. Victor noticed that. From the beginning, he made it clear who held the power. He corrected her in front of guests, reduced her to silence with a raised eyebrow, paid her late, and reminded her she was lucky to be there. His wife, Elaine, was polite but distant, always busy, always tired, always avoiding the basement door at the end of the hallway. The basement was off limits. Old wiring, Victor said casually. Dangerous. But Mara heard things. At night, scraping, thuds, a muffled cry that sounded like it came from inside the walls. When she asked Victor's mother frail, half lucid, the old woman grabbed Mara's wrist with surprising strength and whispered, "Don't ask about the steers. He doesn't like questions." Mara learned quickly. Survival meant obedience. Years passed. Mara stayed. She watched Elaine retreat into pills and silence. She watched Victor's public image grow shinier as his private cruelty sharpened. He never touched Marinot directly. He didn't need to. Control was enough. Fear was enough. Until the night the power went out. A storm ripped through the neighborhood, plunging Hawthorne Lane into darkness. Victor was away on business. Elaine was upstairs, sedated by prescription sleep. And from the basement came screaming. Not imagined, not distant, real. Mara stood frozen at the top of the basement stairs, flashlight shaking in her hand. The door, always locked, was slightly open. That was when she saw the chains, rusty, bolted into concrete, fresh blood staining the floor like spilled ink. And in the corner, someone moved. A woman, thin, bruised, alive. Mara ran. She didn't call the police. Not yet. She knew who Victor Hale was. She knew what happened to people who crossed him. Instead, she did something no one expected. She documented everything. Over the next 3 months, Mara became a ghost. She stayed quiet, obedient, invisible, but she recorded sounds, took photos, copied files from Victor's office when he left his laptop unlocked. She learned names, missing women whose cases had gone cold. She found receipts for soundproofing materials labeled as wine cellar upgrades. Victor underestimated her. That was his mistake. The power shift came when Victor tried to fire her. "You've outlived your usefulness," he said calmly, sliding a thin envelope across the table. "Take this and disappear." Mara smiled. It was the first time she ever smiled at him. "I already did," she said softly. 2 weeks later, the video went live. The channel was anonymous. The narration calm, methodical, the tone unmistakable, precise, devastating, like the deepest true crime exposes that dismantle monsters piece by piece. This is the story of a man everyone trusted. In the basement no one was supposed to open. The footage was undeniable. The chains, the blood, the recordings, the financial trail. The irony was suffocating. Victor Hale, family man, philanthropist, church donor, serial abuser hiding horror beneath his own home. The public backlash was instant. Sponsors pulled out. Friends vanished. The mayor released a statement, claiming he barely knew the man. Elaine checked herself into rehab the same day the warrant was issued. Victor was arrested at a charity dinner, still smiling as the cuffs clicked shut. Justice, finally! Or so it seemed. At sentencing, Mara sat in the back of the courtroom, Victor never looked at her, not once. The judge read the charges, the evidence, the years he would spend behind bars. People whispered about courage, about truth, about how one underestimated woman brought down a giant. But Mara felt no relief, because she knew something else. The police never found all the rooms. The final shot of the video the one viewers replayed again and again was a slow pan across the basement wall, a faint outline where concrete didn't quite match, a hollow sound when knocked, and Victor's voice recorded months earlier, echoing in the dark. Some secrets aren't meant to be uncovered. Some doors should stay closed. As the cell door slammed behind him, Victor finally smiled, because somewhere beneath that house, something still waited. And Mara knew this story wasn't over. The house on Hawthorne Lane didn't stay empty for long. After Victor Hale was sentenced, reporters camped outside the gate. True crime vloggers filmed reaction videos from the sidewalk, and strangers left flowers as if grief could disinfect concrete. But no one went inside. The county sealed the property, pending further investigation, a phrase that sounded official, enough to hide fear, because even the detectives knew something wasn't right. The blueprints didn't match the walls. That Mara knew it too. She felt it in the quiet that followed Victor's arrest, a silence heavier than the screams she used to hear. The woman she'd found chained in the basement survived. She testified. She vanished into witness protection. The public called it closure. Mara called it incomplete. 3 weeks after sentencing, Mara received a package with no return address. Inside was a single object, a key, old and pitted with rust. Taped to it was a scrap of paper with Victor's handwriting. Unmistakable, even after all. The evidence she'd studied. "You missed one." Mara didn't sleep that night. She replayed every inch of footage she'd recorded, every sound she'd archived. At 2:17 a.m., she noticed something she hadn't before, a faint, mechanical hum buried beneath the ambient noise, too steady to be electrical, too deep to be plumbing. It came from behind the wall with the mismatched concrete. The next morning, she did the unthinkable. She went back. The sheriff's deputy at the gate recognized her immediately. "You shouldn't be here," he said, not unkindly. Mara nodded. "I know," she replied, holding up the key. "But he wants me to be." The deputy hesitated, then looked away. Power, Mara realized, doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes, it looks like exhaustion. Inside, the house smelled like dust and old secrets. The basement door creaked open with the same reluctant protest she remembered. The wall was still there, the outline still wrong. Mara pressed the key into a hidden slot she'd never seen before and turned it. The wall moved. Behind it was a narrow staircase descending deeper than the foundation should allow. The air grew colder with each step, the hum louder, rhythmic, alive. At the bottom was a steel door reinforced from the outside. On it, a simple label, "Archive." Mara hesitated. She thought of Victor's smile in the courtroom. She thought of Elaine's vacant eyes. She thought of the women who survived and the ones who didn't, and she opened the door. The room wasn't a dungeon. That was the worst part. It was clean, organized, shelves lined with hard drives labeled by date, photos cataloged with clinical precision, a desk with a microphone and soundproof panels. Victor hadn't just hidden his crimes. He'd preserved them, curated them, and then Mara understood. Victor hadn't been afraid of being caught. He'd been waiting to be discovered. A screen flickered on, pre-recorded. Victor's face filled the room, calm and familiar, like a trusted neighbor stopping by for coffee. "If you're watching this," he said, "then you're exactly who I thought you were." He smiled, curious, thorough, and underestimated. Mara's hands trembled as he continued. "You exposed what I did, not why I did it, not who helped me." The screen split, revealing images. City inspectors, contractors, donors, men and women who'd signed permits, ignored complaints, cashed checks. "Basements are expensive," Victor said softly. "Silence costs more." Mara backed away, nausea rising. This wasn't revenge. It was insurance. Her phone buzzed. An alert. The anonymous "Channel Her" channel was trending again. Someone else had posted. A countdown timer had appeared beneath a single still image from the archive room. 10 hours remaining. Victor's voice returned. "You wanted justice," he said. "Let's see how much the world can swallow." Mara ran. She copied everything she could, her fingers flying, her breath shallow. She knew what was coming. A data dump, names, proof, the kind that would tear the town apart. The kind that would make Victor a martyr to monsters who feared exposure. Outside, sirens wailed. Not for her, for the town. Officials scrambling, phones ringing unanswered. The deputy at the gate stared at her as she passed, his face pale. "What did you find?" he asked. Mara didn't stop. "The truth," she said, "and it doesn't end with him." As the countdown ticked toward 0, Mara uploaded her final narration. Her voice was steady, controlled, unforgiving. She told the audience what she'd learned, that evil doesn't survive alone, that it needs community, convenience, and the comfort of looking away. The timer hit 0. Files flooded the web. Careers collapsed in real time. Arrests followed. Protests erupted. The town that once worshipped Victor Hale tore itself open, basement by basement. In his cell, Victor watched the news and laughed because the last file hadn't been released, the one he kept for himself. Mara found out 2 days later when another package arrived. Inside was a photograph of a different house, a different basement door, and a note written with the same calm precision. Some archives are still sealed. Mara looked at the camera, at the audience who had followed her this far, and understood the final irony. Justice had been served, but the system that fed Victor was still hungry. And somewhere another door was waiting to be opened,